Kirk Math. Welcome back. Here we are with another video for Module 3. We're continuing to go off of 3.1, but we're going to be looking at fractions as decimals. So remember when we said that rational numbers are written in A-B format, we are going to be working on converting numbers into that A-B format so that we can identify them as rational or not, but also in future, we're going to be organizing and ordering these numbers. We need to be able to put them in order. So we need to have them in the same A-B format so that we can order them. Okay, so here is our vocabulary. So the first thing we're going to do is, and so this should be a review lesson. Most of this should be review, but it's stuff we need to know. So the first thing we need to know is that fractions are also considered division. So in elementary school, you have done A divided by B, one number divided by another number with a division sign. You've even done A inside the house and B outside the house with long division. And some of you might know that A over B is also division because that fraction bar right there means to divide. Okay? So we have go ahead and write these down in your notes and your note takers. But these are the three ways that we can write division, and a fraction bar is one of them. And then remember that these rational numbers have to be written in the form A over B in order to be considered rational. So that's why we are going over this. So pause the video if you need to and write that down. All right, so now we're going to represent the division for these two problems in those three ways. We're going to do it the three ways we just went over. So for his party, his birthday party, Tyler got 3 pizzas to share with 8 total people. How much pizza will each person get? Well, if you do it a normal way, we would be doing 3 divided by 8 because we have those 3 pizzas and they're being divided by 8 people. If I'm doing it long division way, it would be 3 inside the house and 8 outside. And if I'm writing it like a fraction, which is our final answer, everyone's going to get 3/8 of a pizza. So hopefully your pizza's cut into 8 pieces and everyone gets 3/8. All right, our next one is Gabby is working on an art project and needs to cut a 20-inch rope into 5 equal parts. How long does each part need to be? Well, again, I'm going to do it a normal way and do 28 divided by 5. Then we're going to do long division way, and I'm going to do 28 inside the house, 5 outside the house. And then finally, our answer is going to be 28 to 8/5. And we're going to keep it like this because this is A-B format, even though you might want to write 5 3/5. That is also true. This is the answer that we want because of that A-B format. All right, we're on our way. Let's review some vocabulary words of fractions so that we can work on turning all our fractions into A-B format. So, as you might remember, a whole number and a fraction combined into one mixed number is called a mixed number. A fraction in which the numerator is greater than the denominator is an improper fraction. And to reduce a fraction to its lowest terms, we call that simplifying. All right, make sure you get those 3 words in your notes. Okay, now we are going to go ahead and remind ourselves how to turn a mixed number into an improper fraction. So I like to call this the circle method because you're kind of going in a circle. You're going to be multiplying the whole number and the denominator. So go ahead and write down the words I'm highlighting in your note taker, fill in the blanks. So I'm multiplying my denominator and my whole number. Then I'm going to add the answer to that multiplication problem, which is the numerator, or sorry, which is the product. I'm going to add the product to the numerator. So we're adding. And then I'm going to take whatever I get, that sum, over the original denominator. So we're kind of going in that circle, right? I'm multiplying, adding, and then it goes over the same denominator. Put the sum over the denominator. I think that's the right one to highlight in your notes. Okay, so to show you how I do that written out, if this was my problem, 4 2/3, so write this out with me because it is in your notes as well. I'm going to show my work by showing that's multiplying, and then show my work by showing that's adding. I can also write it out. 3 times 4 plus 2. 3 times 4 is 12, plus 2 is 14, and I put it over the original denominator, 14/3. All right, take a moment and get all that down. All right, let's do it again with another problem. So I'm going to multiply my denominator and whole number. 2 times 4. I'm then going to add 2 and 1. 2 times 4 is 8. 8 plus 1 is 9. And I'm going to put that over the same denominator. 9/4 is my improper fraction. So go ahead and pause the video and do these 3 practice problems on your own. All right, hopefully you took that minute and answered those questions. So here I did 10 times 3 plus 4 is 34/10. 3 times 3 plus 1 is 10/3. And 8 times 2 plus 5 is 21/8. All right, now for something slightly trickier, just a little bit, we're going to convert our decimals into that fraction format because, again, I need to be able to make them AB with like a fraction. So the first thing I'm going to do is multiply the numerator and the denominator by the place value of the decimal. So we're writing this down in our note taker, and after we write these down, we'll go over it. Then once I do that, I'm going to divide the numerator and the denominator by the GCF of the numerator and the denominator. And if you don't remember, GCF is greatest common factor. There you go. Okay, so let's explain this a little bit better. So notice here that in this number, 25/100ths, I have 2 digits after the decimal. So I have to use my decimal place value to either know that this is 25/100ths, and that's where I got this 100 from, or know that 2 numbers after the decimal point means 2 zeros in my multiple of 10. Okay? My goal is to get rid of this decimal point. And when I multiply by a base of 10, I move my decimal point to the right. So I want to move that decimal point as many times as I need to get it all the way to the end of that number, that decimal. So I multiplied 25/100ths by 100 and got 25. And then I multiplied 1 times 100 and got 100. Now this is AB format already. It's just not simplified. You know, your mother doesn't say, go to the store and buy me 25/100ths of a pound of ham. That sounds weird. They would say, go to the store and buy me 1/4 of a pound of ham. So that's why step 2 matters, because we're going to want to divide this number by its GCF to simplify it to its smallest form. So to find the GCF, we have to find a factor of 25 and 100 that goes into both and is the biggest number we can. So 25 is a factor of 25, and it is also a factor of 100. So when I divide, I get 1/4. We're going to practice this. All right, so follow along with me. I've got 1 spot on my decimal. That means that's 9/10ths. So I'm going to times everything by 10. That's going to move my decimal 1 place to the right and get me 9. 1 times 10 is 10. I cannot reduce 9/10ths any farther, so I am done. It is in its simplest form. Okay, next one. 85/100ths. 2 decimal points means I'm multiplying by 100 because it's 85/100ths. And then I have to find the GCF of 85 and 100, which I just happen to know is 5, because 5 goes into 85 evenly and 100. And when I reduce that, I get 17/20. And then the last one we're going to do, so even though this has a whole number in it, I'm still looking at the decimal points to the right of the decimal. This is 1 5/10, so I'm going to times this by 10. Also remember, I'm multiplying the top and the bottom of this decimal fraction format by the same number, because if it almost thinks like if I'm going to go to a party and I need to change my outfit, say it's a completely fancy party and I'm not going to school, I'm going to change my top and my bottom. I'm not just going to change my top or my bottom. Or think if I got completely covered head to toe in mud, I'm not just going to wash my face and move on with my day. I need to change everything. So just remember, you need to multiply the top and the bottom by that multiple of 10. Okay, so down here, when I multiply by 10, I move my decimal point, and this becomes a 15 over 10, divide by the GCF of 5, and I get 3 halves, 3 over 2. Pause the video now and make sure you have this all written down. All right, go ahead and pause again and do these two on your own, 55 hundredths and 8/10. Here are your steps again. Give these a try and then come back and see how you did. And if you followed your steps, you should have gotten 11/20 for D and 4/5 for E. And that's it. So go back through, double check that you know what you're doing, make sure all your notes are filled in, and I'll see you in the next one.